Today we're going to be talking about the easiest way to charge your solar power battery bank in the wintertime when you don't have any sun. This right here is our current system. We're using an Ames Power 24-volt inverter charger. And using an inverter charger is really one of the easiest ways to do that. Today we're going to be upgrading to a new inverter charger, a 3,000 watt 70 amp charger from Victron. The Victron Multi Plus. Oh, check it out right here. Bam, 24 volts, 300 volt amps, or 300 watts, basically, you could say, with a 70 amp charger. And one of the things that's really cool is it comes pre-programmed. That is one of the awesome things about working with Battleborn, right? Not only do they sell batteries, but they sell like whole custom kits and all of the different components for that. Victron is what we're going with: charge controllers, inverter. There's a couple more little components that we would kind of like to add to our system as we go along. But in working with Battleborn, a premium company, right, they're in Nevada. You can call them on the phone and you can talk to them. They pre-program your stuff for you, right? I mean, like, they want to take care of you and make sure that you have a good experience and that your stuff works for your application. Let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. So as you can see, it has been opened. That's because, well, they had to pre-program it. So of course, they've got to open it. They've got to get it ready for you. Let's see what we got here. Package of goodies here. Let's open this guy up, see what's in there. Information. One more component that I would really like to get is this guy right here, the control center. Yeah, but that'll come later. And then we've got the mounting information sheet, some stickers in different languages, quick installation guide. Beautiful. Oh, the manual. It's only in English, it looks like. And fairly detailed. Some kind of plate we're gonna need for something, and screws. Take a look at the beast right there. All right, how are we gonna get this thing out of here? Whew. Oh, it is not light. There we go. There you go. Kind of see the front of it there. See if we can lift it out of this. I'll show you up close and personal. All right, so here's the front of it. Got a switch here. LED lights. Not sure what all that means yet. We'll figure it out as we get going in the install. Down here, we've got all of the connections. Look, we got a little wire connected in there. This is the back. It's seriously heavy. We should weigh it. On the bathroom scale, and 45 pounds. The first thing we're gonna have to do is disconnect the solar panels from the charge controllers so we can disconnect the batteries and all that kind of stuff. But this right here is our solar panel array. We've got 10 panels total here and 2 different arrays basically. We've got 6 panels in this array right here. These 2 are wired in series, and then each set of these is then wired in parallel. And then back here, or down here, I guess, this is our second array right here. 4 panels. These 2 are wired in series. These 2 are wired in series, and then those 2 sets are wired in parallel. But what we need to do right now is just disconnect them. And I know I should have like an official disconnect for them. I don't have that yet. It's in the plans. We're going to be getting that. But for right now, what we're doing is just unplugging them. Like that. Disconnected now. Not that we're going to be making a lot of solar today anyway, but you always need to disconnect those guys. And then down here on this set, disconnect that guy. Oh, it's frosty out here, man. Where's the other one? Oh, it's over there. Okay. All right, completely disconnected. Now, we're not gonna be damaging anything in there. On your charge controllers, you always want to connect them to the batteries first and then the solar panels. And when you're disconnecting them, you want to disconnect them from the solar panels and then from the batteries. As you can see, it is a mighty cold day here, man. But we're in the solar shed, the tool shed, the generator shed, and it's not that cold in here. Now it's time to start disconnecting all of this and moving it around.
When it all comes tumbling down, I wanna know that you'll still be around. You know they say I had my first breakdown. And will you be there when the next comes around? Nothing gets to me. There's always sunshine.
So we've got this mounting plate we put right here. Made sure it was level. And I think that's really a smart idea from Victron because that thing is 45 pounds. And you just, I think, we're gonna see here, but I think we're just gonna pick it up, set it up there on the wall, slide it down, and it's gonna just hang there. I think it's gonna be nice. Rather than trying to have to hold it up there and put a screw in at the same time, that'd be a pain. All right, let's see what we can do here. Oh man. I don't think it's in there. Maybe it is. Yeah, wow, okay. Huh. Well, that was pretty easy. Huh. Yeah, it's back there. I mean, yeah, it's hooked on there. We got a couple holes right here to put in more screws. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll take the front cover off so we can see what's inside. All right, so we got the other two mounting screws in there. Go ahead and open up this panel. Ooh, fancy. Little wiring diagram here on the inside of the panel. And this is pretty thick stuff. I don't know what it is, maybe aluminum, I'm not sure, but it's pretty thick. I mean, look at how thick this is. These things are definitely sturdily built. Is sturdily a word? I think so. Give you guys kind of a close-up here of what we've got. We've got battery connector positive, negative. We got line in, line out, and line out. 2 line outs. We've got different sensors and stuff to connect down here, like network connectors right here for some kind of communication thing, which we don't have. Hopefully though, in the future we will have that and we'll be installing that bad boy. Looks pretty simple so far. So one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is how to not have to buy more cable. This is all of the big battery cable that I have. So what I need to do is try to figure out how we can rearrange all this stuff and use the exact same cables. That's my goal, but we'll see if we can do it.
Nothing gets to me. There's always sunshine ahead of me now. Smile at everything. Nothing but sunshine ahead of me now.
This is where we've gotten so far with kind of our rough install here. We've got our shunt here on the negative side, just roughly placed here. I mean, maybe permanently here, but we're working on it. And then our positive fuse here. And so this is going to come across like this. And then we're going to be using this battery disconnect switch. So many of you guys suggested that we install one of these. Thank you very much for that suggestion. It really is a good idea. So we're going to be installing this. It is a Blue C battery shutoff switch rated up to 48 volts and 300 amps continuous use. It'll be plenty big. Go ahead and open it up here for you real quick. I'm surprised that it didn't come with any mounting screws, but I don't know. It didn't come with any. So there you go. Mount this guy to the wall. Input, output. Goes right in there. Be perfect.
You are the sunrise waking my day. You are the moonlight shining my way. This is where I call home. You are the fire warming my night. With you I'll stay till the morning light. This is where I call home. This this is where I call home.
Finally finished getting it all wired up. The sun has already set. So now we can finally show you everything over here in detail, turn it on and give it a test run to make sure everything works right. But before we do that, let me answer a couple of questions, all right? Number one is, why do we have two charge controllers? Well, that's because we have two separate solar arrays that are, they're not the same. They're not the same voltage and they're not the same wattage. And so to be the most efficient, we actually run one of the solar arrays, which is 6 panels, I believe. Yeah, 6 panels. Goes through this one at 70 amps. And then the smaller array, which is a lower voltage and a lower wattage, goes through this charge controller right here, which is a 50 amp charge controller. So we run it like that. And they're smart, right? You don't have to worry about it. Just hook them up and they work. They just do what they're supposed to do. You can have more than one charge controller. Also, we have 3,000 watts of solar panels out there, which is right around 120 amps going into the batteries. And so right here, notice 70 and 50, 120 amps we can charge with. So that's why we have two. If you buy all of your solar panels and they're all the same and you buy them all at once, you may not need two charge controllers like we have. But you might if you have too many, and then you're going to have two charge controllers because you're trying to charge with too many amps for your charge controller to handle. So you just got to figure out what you need for your setup and your situation. For us, we need two. Another question that is really asked a lot is, how much does it cost? Well, there are links in the description of the video where you can check the current prices, because sometimes there's sales, sometimes the price goes up, sometimes the price goes down, and if I tell you the price today, that may not be relevant next week. And so I just put all of the links in the description. You go ahead and check and you can see what the current price is for all of the components that we have here. All the batteries, inverter charger, charge controllers, switch, Bluetooth thingamabobber here that monitors everything, right? It's all down in the description below. Another question that's asked a lot is, how many watts is your inverter? Well, our inverter was 2,000 watts. That's with the old Ames inverter. This inverter here is 3,000 watts. So we stepped it up a little bit, and we can charge a lot faster as well. That's the main reason that we're upgrading here. We were getting by with the 2,000 watts. The 3,000 will be nice, and you can pair these together and actually get 220 out of it. We don't need to do that right now, but in the future, if we want to, now we can upgrade. We're going with all Victron and Battleborn batteries, and so it'll be a beautiful system that all works good together. All right, so just to review, right, we'll come out here real quick. Solar panels right out here, okay? 10 solar panels, 2 separate arrays. From the solar panels, it comes in and up into the solar shed. We come up out of here. I know it's still a mess. I haven't cleaned up yet from hooking everything up. I gotta get this done before it gets dark. We come up out of here, we come up, and we come into the charge controller here, and then we come into the charge controller here as well. We come out of the charge controllers right here and here, come up to the positive right here, 250 amp fuse, and then the negatives go over here to the load side of the shunt. This shunt right here is what gives this guy right here its information. From here, right, the positive comes over to a disconnect switch, which is turned off right now. It goes up and goes into the positive side of the batteries. The batteries are wired in series and parallel. These are 12 volt, 100 amp hour batteries, but it's wired for 24 volts. So this is 100 amp hours at 12 volts. This is 100 amp hours at 12 volts. But because they're wired in series, it's 100 amp hours at 24 volts. The amp hours stay the same. You double the voltage, which means you double the watt hours as well. So we've got 100 amp hours, 200 amp hours, 300 amp hours, 400 amp hours at 24 volts. So these are in series, and then they're all in parallel and all in parallel. The positive comes off of this corner, the negative comes off of the opposite corner, and it comes back over here to the battery side of that shunt. Whew, I know it's a little complicated, but hang on with me. From the batteries then, we come down through this switch, through the fuse and up into the inverter. Yes, there's a cover for the inverter. We will put it on in a minute. Comes up into the inverter. The negative right here comes down to the load side of the shunt. So we have a 12 gauge wire right here coming out of there. And we have a 14 gauge wire going into there. This is the AC out. This is the AC in. The AC out comes out of the inverter, goes into that hole, goes behind the wall, and comes out in here, goes through this breaker right here, 20 amp breaker, comes out of the breaker and goes into the wall. It goes up over here. It comes right here to this GFI outlet. It comes into the outlet, and then it also goes out of the outlet, which lets us run power out to the outside, which is right here. This extension cord right here is temporary, and it actually runs over to the cabin. That's how we get power to the cabin right now. We will hardwire it all in. It takes time, but we'll get it. This wire right here, this is the AC in. This is how we charge the batteries. Remember that I said the easiest way to charge your solar battery bank in the wintertime when you don't have any sun is with an inverter charger. So power comes in, it transfers, it goes through here, goes out, goes back to the house. But at the same time, it also goes backwards through here and goes into the batteries. So we can charge our batteries from the generator when we have no sun. All we do is we take this cord and we plug it into the generator, start up the generator, and it should start charging. That's the plan anyway. We'll see here in a minute. All right, here we go. Turn it on. Good. Nothing smoking yet. Okay, so this is on. Let's go ahead. We'll turn the inverter on. Inverter's on. Look at that. We're green. I think we might be inverting right now. Oh, we could check right here. Minus 22 watts right now. Oh, we got to turn the breaker on. Here we go. Now we're using 165 watts, 170 watts. And so that is not these lights. These lights are just connected up to a little solar generator. So that is the power that the house is using right now for lights, refrigerator, whatever happens to be running in the house right now. 146 watts. That means 146 watts is coming out of these batteries right now. So let's start up the generator. Plug this guy in. Now we'll wait and see if something changes up here. We're at 134 watts negative. Look at that. Oh, buddy. There we go. Notice here, the lights changed. So we're over here now on these lights. All right, so we are charging right now with 1.21 kilowatts, 1.24 kilowatts, 1.25 kilowatts, 1.25 kilowatts. We're charging the batteries right now off of the generator. Way better than we were doing with the Ames charger. Went ahead and shut off the generator so we can button this stuff up now. Go ahead and turn this off, turn the batteries off, and turn this guy off.
Your love is like no other. Your love is where I feel alive. My safety and my shelter. Your love is my home.
Let's check it out one more time. Turn the batteries on. Batteries on. Turn the breaker on. Turn the inverter on. There we go. Inverter's on. Another thing that's really cool about this inverter is it's a lot more efficient than the Ames one as well. So while it's just sitting here, not really doing anything, it's like self-consumption. It's a lot lower than the Ames. Makes the batteries last longer. Right now we're using 130 watts out of the batteries. We're going to charge up these batteries tonight. Make sure that they're up 100%. So we'll go ahead and get this guy going again. All right, now I want to see how many amps we're actually putting into the battery. So we're putting in 1.23 kilowatts, 45.8 amps. This is supposed to do 70 amps. So I'm going to have to go through the book again and figure out why it's only putting 46 amps now instead of 70. May have to contact Victron and find out what's up with that. If you would like a complete tour of our off-grid solar system, from solar panels to the batteries to everything to all of the appliances we run inside of the house, like the completest tour that could ever be complete, let me know down in the comments below. If you'd like to see what else is going on here in our homestead, there's a video right over there you can go ahead and check out. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a really great day. Keep smiling, and I'll see you over in that video in just a second.